Now let's fix our grid view. You notice when we run this, our grid view does not look good. These buttons are next to each other, are on top of each other instead of next to each other. And we've got too much going on here. So if we just remember that the grid view is just going to be for the user to select which items he either wants to delete or select, then we can see, well, let's leave this description stuff, and let's leave the image box, but actually let's get rid of the image align even out of the database, and let's just kind of clean this up, and we'll clean up the heading names, some of that stuff. So the first thing let's do is go back to our database and get rid of the image align property. So we'll switch to design view, and we'll just delete this out of here. Then next we'll go back here to our data source and reconfigure the data source. Otherwise I think it's going to throw an error when it tries to read that. So we'll say select all of them, and we want to make sure that we can delete from here. So we'll say OK, next, finish. And now it's going to say, well, since we changed that, should we change our grid view? We'll say yes. But you notice now then our grid view is kind of back to default, so we'll have to go make our changes that we did there before. So enable deleting, enable selection, then edit the columns. And now let's, on the command field, change this to back to buttons. And I also want to just make these fields so they say ID. Just make them capital letters to make them look pretty. And we actually might change the description field to a template field, and let's make that a label rather than a text box. And that way, let's convert that to a template field, and that way the formatting will show up. So we'll say OK, and then go to our template, and in our item template for description, oh, it is a label, good. So that should take care of some of that. So let's test this out and see if this looks any better. Okay, so this looks a little bit better. We might make this description, it's not quite big enough. But this is much better. So I'll do some of the fine-tuning. You can just fine-tune this on your own, but let's just test out one more time and make sure that it works. So we can say select. Oh, and we need to fix our other data source, the one for, since we've got rid of that database field, this data source 2 for our details view will be messed up. So we need to reconfigure the data source here. Go to products where the ID matches the control from grid view 1. And then do our advanced. Say OK, finish, and he's going to redo all this for us, so we'll need to redo these properties. Okay, its default mode is edit, which is good. Edit the fields here. I think we're okay, so let's just try to run this one more time. Oh, I'm sorry, we want to make sure enable editing on this, and then we'll go to the edit fields and turn this into a button. And let's test this out. So if we select this, then we should be able to say, make a change, update, works out. Let's select this one and cancel. Everything works great. So you notice our grid view. I'm just cleaned up the grid view to make it look a little bit better. So that is the end of this tutorial.